I personally respect that. Shannon, what is your reaction?
I mean, what do I really need to add? I commend him for this because he's saying what I'm doing is all I'm doing is I'm bringing attention. I'm highlighting issues that's going on in our communities. And NFL, for you not to understand when so many of the players are African American and we're trying to bring issues to those communities, because without us doing this, sometimes we think those voices are not going to get heard. That light's not going to get shined in that direction so you can see the injustices that go on every single day. So he says, I'm going to continue to do this. Now, I don't know if last year he raised his fist above his head, so I don't even know. Maybe that might not even be a fine, Skip. Clearly, what they're saying, we don't want you kneeling during the national anthem. So I don't know. They don't, and the Players Association have filed a lawsuit against the NFL about this issue. So they haven't said what's a fine and what isn't a fine. We want you basically showing respect to the flag. And if you're not going to stand, but pretty soon, because this is the slippery slope that you get on. First, they want you to stand. Then they want you to take your helmet off. Then they're going to want you to put your helmet in your left arm. They're going to want you to put your hand over your heart. They want you to bow your head. Because it's never going to stop, Skip. It's never going to be enough. So what's enough? What is showing respect to the flag? I thought, long as you're not stepping on it, you're not burning the flag, you're not desecrating it. That's respect to the flag. They're not flipping the flag off. So I commend Casey for taking this stance, and hopefully the NFL will come to a better way to handle this situation. They tried to appease two different factions and sections, and they just ticked off everybody because nobody's happy with this. Because we've heard our commander-in-chief says that's almost as worse as taking a knee by staying in the locker room. And the guy's like, well, hold on, why you get to tell me what I can do? And we saw Mr. Bidwell says, all we do is ask the players for 20 days. But why you get to determine the 20 days when you don't want me to protest? That's the whole point. We don't want to telling us when we can and can't, because we can't tell you if you can and can't. So I commend Mr. Casey for the stance and the approach that he's taking.
Likewise. But I'm going to step back for a second. And I'm going to guess that a whole lot of NFL fans don't really know who Jurrell Casey is, even though he has made 3 straight Pro Bowls at defensive tackle, albeit for the Tennessee Titans, playing Nashville, Tennessee, so maybe that's why. But Jurrell Casey,
he's one of the better ones.
Hey, he's one of the better ones. And by the way, he's got some legacy to him. He went to Long Beach Poly, which is a football power out here in Southern California. And then he went to USC. And yet, I just think today will be the biggest publicity splash that Jurrell Casey has ever made, and it's going to be off the field, right? Because I don't think a lot of people really know, but now they're going to say, wait a second, that guy, oh yeah, that guy, okay? There was some courage behind his statements. And I admired them because he pulled not one punch. And yet, checked on this just to make sure, 1 year ago in July, he signed a big new deal, 4 years, $60 million, with $40 million of those 60 guaranteed bucks. That's a pretty good NFL contract, right? So if you count your pennies of that $40 million, if you handle it correctly, you're pretty good to go, right? Aren't you?
And he knows he's not going anywhere. So what y'all gonna do?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. He at least he has the wherewithal to stand up and make this statement. And he did. And it was powerful and impressive. And it opened your ears and your ears, and certainly my ears to say, wow.
Because I like the way he laid it out. He said, this is why I'm doing it. It's not about the flag. It's not about the military or anything like that. It's about, you look at us, African Americans. You look at the plight that's affecting our community, impacting our communities, African Americans. I'm just trying to highlight it. I'm trying to bring attention to it to let you see what's going on. That's all I'm doing here. Nothing else to see.
It was very matter of fact.
That's it.
But he made it clear, I'm going to do what I do, what he has been doing. And I'm here also to suggest that there are going to be a certain number of owners who are going to read or see or hear these comments, and they're not going to love them because they're afraid it's going to start another firestorm, and it might.
You heard what he said, Skip? He said, well, NFL, if you want to pit teams against their players, have at it. Because that's what they're basically doing. Because Skip, you know how it's going to be. It's going to be a roll call. You got to look and see who's down there. Okay, well, now who's in the locker room? Because then you're going to pan and wait to see who comes out after the national anthem is played. You're going to see who walks out of the locker room that's dressed in a uniform. Okay, then we got a pan that says, okay, is anybody kneeling? Anybody got their fist up? Anybody, what is everybody doing? So it's almost like, it's not, normally we watch for, plays during the game. You're like, okay, well, this is how that guy got the sack, or this is how the guy got the interception. It's going to be that kind of camera focus during the national anthem. Okay, who's doing what, and then who's coming out of the locker room, which is NFL. I just think there's a better way you can do this.
So we're about to open a whole bunch of NFL camps, and I ask you, Mr. Sharp.
Yep.
How many other NFL players, black or white, will now be inspired by Mr. Casey to take their stand, to reiterate their points?
Well, as far as white players, it seems to me that Chris Long is the one that's woke and is most socially conscious.
Yep.
Not just with this plight, but he has the Water Boy Project, and he gave his entire salary to education funds in his home state of Virginia. So he seems to be the most socially woke, conscious white player.
Yep.
As far as the black players, and I've heard Malcolm Jenkins says that, okay, we're at a graduate course now. We started this and because we worked our way up, and so we're going to find other ways and other means to get our point across. So I don't know how many guys are going to take the Malcolm Jenkins approach and say we've graduated, we're going to do different ways, or I don't know how many guys are going to do jurrell Casey's approach as far as raising the fist above their head. But just as long as they know whatever the gesture is, people that's watching at home, it's not about being disrespectful. It's about highlighting what's going on in the African American and minority community.
Yeah. Well, bottom line, we've already said this, and I'm going to reiterate it one more time. The new NFL policy didn't, so to speak, put out the fire. It just poured more gasoline on this fire. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, but this is only going to exacerbate the situation.
So it starts when the first game, the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Well, the Ravens play the Bears. So we'll see if anybody does anything. I don't expect anybody from the Ravens to do anything. Bears, hey, we'll see.
We'll see. What that comment told me, gentlemen, was that Mr. Casey's aware of the cost of disruption. He's very aware, because there's always a cost when you disrupt the status quo. He's aware of it. He's prepared to pay it. Because when you start policing legally protected protests, it's unacceptable.
Right.
It's just unacceptable. And I love that he's prepared to pay that price.
Yep.
Absolutely. Next up, will Kawhi Leonard ever play, actually, for the Toronto Raptors? We know he's traded